It is always a pleasure to see new brands on my channels. That's meaning that I'm growing up, and that's also thanks to you guys that are following and support. So thank you very much. And today we are going to see two new products from a new company. Okay, not new, but new on my channels. EarMen. We have the small EarMen Colibri and the bigger one, the EarMen Angel. Not interesting only for headphones lovers, but also for iFi. So let's do it. Probably you already heard about Auris Audio, a company that produces high-end tube amps, where EarMen is a subsidiary of it, with a more cost-friendly portfolio. And the two products that I'm presenting today are coming with a retail price around 250 bucks for the EarMen Colibri and something around 600 for the EarMen Angel. Similar retail price in every market in UK and in US. Take a look of the website, I will let it in descriptions if you want more information. Why these products are really interesting? Well, we are going to compare it directly with some brands that we know very well, that we saw many times on my channels and that I really respect. It is the iFi. And we will compare the new Hip Dac 3 that we review on these channels with, of course, the iFi Colibri. They have a similar retail price, but they are really different. And I will compare also the EarMen Angels that is really similar in retail price and also in features with the iFi Gryphon. Unfortunately for the Angel, it will be not a direct comparisons because I don't have anymore the Gryphon, where on Angel and Hip Dac 3 it will be a direct comparison, so take it in mind. Starting with the Colibri, I love that as a dongle size, so if you are looking for portability, of course, compare it to the bigger Hip Dac 3, there is a big size difference. And the Angel will fit in your pocket without any problem. Both Angels and Colibri are made in Europe and are sharing similar things like a 3.5 or a 4.5 balance output and two USB-C input for charge and data. And both are coming with 5-6 hours of battery life, so you really have all the times that you need to enjoy your music during the day before charge it again. Controls and functions is where Colibri and Angels are a little bit different. With Colibri we have two buttons on each sides for volume variations, turn off and on the device, and bass boost. And we'll speak about bass boost just in a moment. And I wish to see these symbols for turn it off, bass boost, plus, minus volumes on the sides, because every time I have to flip the EarMen Colibri to understand where I'm pushing. So not a deal breaker, but something that I would like to see in next EarMen products. By the way, knobs are really good and nice to the touch. Moving on, Angels is a little bit different. I really love the rubber feet that will make it really stable so when you use it on your desktop or, for example, in iFi, as we will see later. And here on the front we can find a Gain Plus that will increase the power and dynamic. And pairing the Angel with most of my headphones, as we will see, I prefer it with it when Gain Plus was enabled. And yeah, I just let it basically all the time enabled. We have also the ability to interface the Angel through digital connections by SPDIF input, coaxial or Toslink with an adapter that is included. And this is something really unusual. I never saw something like that. Interesting, really beautiful. So it's coming with all the accessories, all the adapter. You just connect it here and you adapt your cable to your iFi situations. We'll speak about it later. We find also a front LED that with different colors will indicate battery life, volume range and input sample frequency. I'm really not a fan of LED, especially when are indicating all this stuff, and really I don't have time to memorize all what these colors means, right? And I really wish to see in this price range at least a small display that is indicating this to me. Overall, a lot of features between analog output, digital inputs, gain plus, and the possibility to switch between pre-out and direct. That makes pairing Angel suitable not only for headphones, but with iFi too. And really funny, when I tested for the first times, we have this switch that is switching between pre-out, so pre-out that you can control the volume from here, and direct. And I was thinking that if I hit wrongly these knobs, it will give me all the power on the headphones. I say, oh, maybe it's a little bit dangerous, but it's absolutely not like that. So as soon you are listening to the headphones and you just push direct, nothing will happen. Instead, is used to disable the pre-out sections when you are going to interface the Angels in your iFi system. Potentiometer is stepwise. It has a minimum play. I don't know if it's my sample unit, but it's really well balanced and work great at low volumes. You will find yourself to do many rotations before to reach the standard volume, something that I really like because it will make it really sensitive and really precise. I forgot to set it is also the knob to turn it off and on. Back on Colibri, regarding the designs, it's look really beautiful, but I really suggest to get from HiFiMAN the leather case. Beautiful glass, unfortunately, is fingerprinting. Angel designs is a little bit subjective, you may like it or not. I like this blue and this industrial solid designs. And I liked it in iFi, the weight and the fit will keep it stable, really stable. Okay, 4 important things to say about these products. First one is regarding firmware upgrade if you are going to use it with your PC. If you go on the EarMen webpage, you have the possibility to download the software for the firmware upgrade, but remember to install first the driver, otherwise it will not work. Second thing is USB charge. The first times that I wanted to charge the Angel, for example, I used a fast charge and it didn't work. I was not able anymore to turn it on, so I contacted EarMen and they reply, no, please don't use a fast charge. You have to use, at least in Europe, only 5 volt to ampere. So take it in mind, no fast charge. Third thing, Colibri, it will shut down too quickly if not used. So look, there is not a standby functions as for example the Hip Dac 3. And I noticed this because I was switching between Hip Dac 3 and Colibri for doing a direct comparisons, and every time I had to turn it on. So also here not a big deal, is a points more for EarMen that yes, I would like to see a sort of standby. And as last points, I like really much these features on the Angels that every time you plug and disconnect on headphones will set the volumes at minimum in automatically. Really beautiful features that I saw it only on HiFiMAN products. Okay, let's move quickly to objective measures. I performed some tests with some headphones to comparing the frequency response between Hip Dac 3, Colibri and Angels, and I saw something really interesting. So in this first graphic we have a comparisons between Colibri and Hip Dac 3 with the area organic. And we can see that by enable the bass boost on the Hip Dac 3 is pushing the bass something around plus 10, where the Colibri is a more neutral plus 3 dB. And if you saw guys my review of the Hip Dac 3, I told you that plus 10 for me is really too much, so nice to see that Colibri is not pushing so much the bass. But it's not a V-shaped bass, because if you look for example the Hip Dac 3, we'll see that the bass boost will be under 200 Hz, where on the Colibri it will start actually under 800-600 Hz, so it's starting a little bit before. And I found this changing a little bit, especially voices, that sounds a little bit more deep and more chesty. Something that I noticed especially on male voices. That's why I like the bass boost of EarMen, but I use it only in EDM for example, or music where is really lack of bottom end. So we have Hip Dac 3 in brown with bass boost, in blue we have the Colibri with the plus bass, and in red and green Hip Dac 3 and Colibri with a standard profile. So as you see, the bottom end of Colibri and Hip Dac 3 with the standard profile is really similar. And in the end we have a small variations above 12 kHz, where it's looked at Colibri tends to have a more extended frequency response. It's only 1 dB, really not so much, something that I really didn't notice it in my auditions test. Also it's around 16 kHz, so really hard to notice it. And that's something that I saw also with other headphones, also with HD600 for example. Here we have a frequency response comparisons between my reference desktop DAC, that is the EarMen AD2 DAC in green, Colibri in red, Angel in blue and Hip Dac 3 in brown. And of course with the EarMen you have the possibility to change the filters, the DAC filters, so if I can get the same frequency response, but I choose one now, don't remember, don't ask me which one it was slow, fast, I really don't remember. By the way, I prefer a more rolled off response, but both Hip Dac 3, Angel and Colibri look really extended in the frequency response, so something to take it in mind when you pair Colibri and Angel with your headphones. But let's move to sound quality to break it down. Both products are really dead silent, something that I noticed it also when I tested with IEM. I tested with the Sennheiser IE600 and absolutely dead silent, pitch black, really beautiful. They're coming with a great clarity and sharing a similar tonality and a spacious presentation. Bottom end on both products is really neutral, well defined, able to provide a smooth and never disattached bass. A sort of bass that works really good with warm headphones. Comparing Angel with Colibri, Angel's was a slightly faster presentations with a more strong attack. Of course it's coming with more power and more dynamic, and it has more authority, especially when it's coming to drive more complex headphones. Like for example the HD660S2 from Sennheiser that I remember was coming with a high impedance of 300 ohm. Absolutely any problem to drive it with the Colibri, but moving to the Angel, I noticed that the sound was richer, more control on bass, where Colibri was a little bit more round and shallow. Mid-range on both is absolutely neutral, not warm at all. Vocal presence is presented in an energetic way without never being forwarded, but absolutely neutral and well balanced. Treble is exciting on both Colibri and Angel, and here, as I said, headphones matching could make the difference. Sundara Open, for example, with Colibri, I found it a little bit too sharp and exciting, so you may like it or not. Where instead with the IE600 IEM of Sennheiser that already have exciting treble, didn't bother me at all, so something really strange. Delivering a refined presentation with an excellent imaging and separation. And I remember comparing the IE600 from Sennheiser IEM with the Hip Dac 3, and here interesting guys, I don't know if you saw my video regarding the custom comfort tips I using these on the IE600. This absolutely is a game changer. By the way, I was comparing the Hip Dac 3 with Colibri with the IEM, and guys, the imaging that is able to provide the Colibri is absolutely excellent. The Hip Dac 3 was, yes, a little bit more rich and funny, but really not technical like Colibri. Especially on timbre, Angel and Colibri have a timbre accuracy that is really good. It's realistic, and this absence of richness or saturation is what is making these two products different from other products that we saw on my channel. And in the side-by-side comparisons with the Hip Dac 3, I noticed how colored is the Hip Dac 3. Instruments are more harmonically rich and sometimes too sweet for my taste. But there are some tracks where I prefer, for example, the Hip Dac 3 compared to the Colibri because it's able to give you this richness presentations with a lot of space, big soundstage and really beautiful transparency. Transparency and details on the Hip Dac 3 is a little bit superior, despite being less technical on timbre and imaging. And also two important things where the Hip Dac 3 is superior, that is the battery life and the power. Is slightly more power and dynamic compared to Colibri, but it's also bigger and less portable compared to the Colibri, of course, so take it in mind. Jumping on Angels, the power is really impressive. We are speaking about, yeah, something around 2 watts in 32 ohm. And I noticed it immediately by pairing the Angels with two headphones that I really love but are hard to drive, like the Dan Clark Aeon 2 and the HiFiMAN HE6SE. Especially with the Aeon 2 I test a lot of classic music, and with the Aeon 2 it's always been a really hard test, especially on classic and the dynamic that is needed, and I never noticed the Angel complaints about it. And I was comparing Hip Dac 3 because unfortunately I don't have the Gryphon anymore with the Angels, and on bass especially when the bass drums or when the orchestra crescendo is coming with the Aeon 2, I always had the problems that I was just hearing a bass that was congested, but never with the Angels, was always clean and really precise. Comparing the tonality of Angels with the Gryphons, as I said, is not a direct comparison, but I have a clean and vivid imaging of how was the Gryphon sounds, and the Gryphon sounds really full of textures, really rich, a beautiful attack and a lot of transparency, where on Angels you will not have the same transparency and textures of the Gryphon. Not that the Angels doesn't have transparency or textures, absolutely it has it, but it's not so pushed and is focusing to delivering a more neutral and natural presentations rather than something that could sound too much artificial and fatigue. So more transparency and textures, Gryphon, more musicality, dynamic and more realistic presentations, Angel. Hope this will help you, but let me know in the comments if you have any question. As I said, I tested also Angel in iFi, streaming through my Win Pro Plus and comparing Hip Dac with the Angel DAC. So I used the coaxial input with this adapter as I showed you. I connected the Win Pro Plus coaxial output to the Angel's input, and I went out with the single-ended because I went in the Musical Fidelity A1 Class A, beautiful Class A amplifier, review also available in descriptions, and it doesn't have a balanced input, so I used the single-ended output of the Angels. I did it. And I used the Musical Fidelity to drive the Project Box 5 S2. Lovely speaker. A beautiful, pure analog setup. By the way, I compared the Win Pro Plus DAC with the Angel DAC, and I noticed that the Win Pro Plus DAC was, yes, full of textures, and especially on top end. The top end was just not really invisible, with too much contrast, especially on instruments like cymbal, for example, where with Angels was a more smooth and neutral presentation. Probably not with the decay and textures on the top end of the Win Pro Plus, but able to make the speaker invisible and disappear in your room. Definitely a less aggressive and more natural presentation. Mid-range on the Win Pro Plus was more holographic but also forwarded, and you may like it or not. Not too much forwarded in your face, but definitely more forwarded. Where with the Angels I got a little bit less soundstage but more deepness, much more deepness. And I got also a little bit of sibilance with the Win Pro Plus, for example listening to this track of Dido, Some Kind of Love. So really not bad with the Win Pro Plus, but was sometimes just too much contrast with the Win Pro Plus, where I really appreciate the musicality and the realism of the Angels despite being less transparent. In the end, Colibri is the best sounding dongle that I tested until now, and is my pick even compared to products like the Go Bar or the iFi Blue. It's neutral, it's technical, the sound profile works great with warm or dark headphones and also with IEM, and is a dongle with its own battery, so will not drain your smartphone, something to take it in mind. Regarding Angel, is a beast, able to drive in complex headphones without never complain. Considering the size, I was probably expecting a little bit more of battery, so something around 10 hours instead 6. I love that it is an all-rounder, and if you are looking for a device that is great for both headphones and iFi, I can only recommend it. And that's it, that was my review of the EarMen products. I hope you guys appreciate it. If yes, please hit the like buttons, considering to subscribe to support my work, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. From my audio is everything for today. See you soon and stay safe.